voters go to the polls in two key by-elections that could see a double helping of misery for Rishi Sunak's Conservatives. One of them will be in Kingswood, which of course is a suburb of Bristol. It recently saw the resignation of former Conservative Minister Chris Skidmore, and many in the constituency feel it's time for change. Are we to expect a successful day for Sir Keir Starmer and the Labour Party on Thursday? Well, our South West of England reporter Jeff Moody has this report.
Westminster has come to Kingswood as candidates vie for votes in this week's by-election. But a quick drive around Kingswood and you'd be hard-pressed to find a single poster on a single window. The people who live here tell me they're sick of politicians, sick of the by-election sideshow. And it comes down to three little words.
Cost of living.
The cost of living.
I just can't afford to live. I just got no money. I struggle every day with cost and got nothing.
And when you have nothing, it's hard to have hope.
People can't afford to live, can they? At the end of the day, everybody says this, everybody says that. But the grassroots of it all are, if you can't afford to live, you need a bit of help from one of the parties.
Just like basic shopping, groceries, travel is just, petrol costs, energy cost, housing, lack of social housing, and the high private rents in this country have just spiralled out of control.
Voters here could deliver yet another body blow to Rishi Sunak, or a vote of confidence that could signal a resurgence in Tory support. Neither option is exciting them. They've got more important things to think about.
Just start with the NHS. My husband has cancer, prostate cancer, and he has a gallstone in his bladder, and he has a knee problem, and I literally have to go to the hospitals and beg on my hands and knees to get my husband treatment.
Looking after the pensioners better. Pensioners have done their bit.
This is Kingswood's main shopping area on a Saturday afternoon. It should be heaving.
Around here, it's all the shops shutting and everything, and gangs up here and stuff, thieving and things like that. Perhaps the presence of a police officer around might help.
Whoever wins here won't have very long to get their feet under the table, because come the general election, this constituency won't even exist at all. Under plans to redraw the electoral map, this seat will be swallowed up by surrounding constituencies. That's doing nothing to make the people of Kingswood feel like they're being heard. There's a cynicism in the air here, an anger. Candidates are hoping they can energise people enough to get them to the polling station this Thursday. But if the current mood in town is an indicator of anything, it's that interest will be low and the turnout even lower. Jeff Moody, GB News.
Well, apathy is high, but there's all to play for. And here's a list of the people standing in the Kingswood by-election. Sam Bromley is Conservative, Andrew Brown, Liberal Democrats, Damien Egan, Labour, Lorraine Francis, the Green Party, Rupert Lowe, Reform UK, and Nicholas Wood from UKIP. And joining us now to discuss this further is Ed Hodgson, who's the research manager for More in Common. Welcome to the show, Ed. Thank you very much for joining us. So what's the lie of the land? The Conservative Party seems to be bracing themselves for a bit of a double whammy on Thursday. What's your data telling you?
Yeah, Kingswood really is a seat that Labour ought to be winning. Currently, the Conservatives have a majority of 11,000 there. And Labour's defeated much bigger majorities in recent by-elections in Mid-Bedfordshire and Selby, for example. It's also a seat that tends to vote however the country ends up voting at a general election, so it's a real good sign of sort of national mood and has been historically. Wellingborough is going to be a bit more tricky, but Labour will be hoping for a nice win there as well.
And in terms of the odds, I mean, what are the margins, what are the likelihoods of that clean sweep for the Labour Party?
Yeah, well, I'm not a betting man, but in Kingswood, we can be fairly sure that Labour will topple the Conservatives. Although, as that piece was saying, we're expecting low turnout, particularly given that this seat is due to disappear in just a couple of months. So there might be quite a lot of apathy, and we might expect more protest votes than you would otherwise expect. At Wellingborough, it's going to be a bit more neck and neck. A 19,000 majority is a big majority for Labour to tackle, so it'll be a tough mountain to climb. In Mid-Bedfordshire, just a couple of months ago, they did topple a 24,000 majority. So it's definitely doable. In both of these seats, it will also be a real test of Reform UK, which have been polling quite well in national polls, but haven't matched that in by-elections recently. So it'll be a good chance to see whether they can sort of convert those poll numbers into results at by-elections. And if they do, that will have significant consequences for the Conservatives in particular.
And quickly, if we could add, apathy is always a problem at by-elections, but this time it looks to be especially bad.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're doing focus groups every week, and the number one thing we hear is that people have sort of had enough with politicians and politics. There's extremely low trust. People really dislike the Conservative Party nationally, but there's really not much love for Labour either. So we can expect that this general election coming in a couple of months or by the end of the year, it's going to be low turnout, and by-elections normally a low turnout anyway.
OK, Ed Johnson, thank you. We have to leave it there. Thank you very much.